Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright guys, what we're going to talk about on this episode of the Bullet Points could be the magic bullet that takes down 114 in Oregon. This is a newer lawsuit that was filed. This is like 4 or 5 at this point. This is getting spicy. I cannot wait to walk you through it. Everything will be linked in the description box below per usual. And if you are new or you're a returning viewer, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We would love to have as many people in the fold as we can to spread positive 2A news on what we are doing to pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation as possible. Thank you so much for your consideration. And now let's get to this. And I've got to walk you through this lawsuit that was sent to me because this one, like I said, has some points here that are almost irrefutable. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get it. All right, so on the screen right now is the actual lawsuit itself, the actual paperwork. Check this out. This is in the United States District Court for the District of Oregon, the Portland Division. Now, this individual lawsuit is from FPC and Second Amendment Foundation. This is one of the in Sportsman's Warehouse. This is all about what I think is the strongest approach in this. I'm not a lawyer by any means, but it seems to make the most sense. If you're talking about, hey, you have to have this permitting process in place before you buy a firearm, but the permitting process doesn't exist, that sounds like you're infringing upon the availability to have a Second Amendment right and enable that Second Amendment right. So there's your injury right there, not to mention all the other things. But that's just my off the cuff. So let's get into this. I want to walk you through a few of these things because it's a strongly worded lawsuit. The Second Amendment's right to keep and bear arms is not a second-class right subject to an entirely different body of rules than the other Bill of Rights guarantees. That is in the Bruen decision. And a law that entirely blocks exercise of an activity protected by the Second Amendment is unconstitutional and must be enjoined. One of my favorite things about these lawsuits, particularly when FPC is involved, they don't mince words. It's very direct, and that's very well stated. This can't go on. It's very clear. There's lots of precedent. What are we doing here? But I got a couple more things I want to show you because there's some really strong points. That is the situation here. Oregon has passed a new law that will require, beginning December 8, 2022, if all firearm purchases in the state to present a permit to purchase firearms, as envisioned by the law. The process to acquire a permit to purchase can take up to 30 days complete, but today, less than a week from the day the requirement goes live, no one in Oregon has a permit because there is no infrastructure to support the processing of permit applications. There's not even an application yet. The Oregon State Police has not created it. So what are we talking about? Why is this going in? What is the judge waiting on? Well, the judge has to get to this one after the 3 or 4 other ones. But the reason that I'm excited about this one is because it's so clearly worded and it's so easy to understand the injury, which is a necessity for an emergency injunction. There's no way, well, it's Portland, it's Oregon. In a rational world, there's no way you look at this and say, nah, that's not true. That is absolutely founded. It's extremely solid. But let's continue because, like I said, the way that they went after this, and it was almost like a guided missile, was excellent. With no way to apply for a permit and facing criminal prosecution for purchasing firearms without a permit, Oregonians will find themselves on December 8th with no legal way to acquire a firearm. There's your injury. Plaintiffs are seeking a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction to prevent the law from going into effect until it is possible for ordinary, law-abiding citizens to acquire a purchase permit and therefore to acquire a firearm. That is so good. They're buying time, right? So, hey, we can't put this in place until they have a permitting system in place. Well, if the permitting system takes forever, then therefore it doesn't go into effect. If you can kind of follow that logic, it makes sense. Let's get it and pause it while the other ones take effect. Like I said, there are 3 or 4 other ones. Plaintiffs and every other person living in Oregon will be effectively extinguished. This is the Second Amendment rights. There is no such way a law can be justified under the framework outlined in Bruen. Bruen is coming back, baby. That freedom poultice. So plaintiffs are certain to succeed on the merits of their claim, and the remaining preliminary injunction and temporary restraining order factors all weigh in favor of granting plaintiffs emergency relief. One of the things that I like to say on this channel is Bruen is kind of like a poultice and it just sucks that poison of gun control from the wound. It's such a powerful tool and a powerful medicine against gun control. That's why they're framing it in this way. It's very clear what's happening. What are we doing? Why are we wasting time? And this last piece is a nice way to wrap this whole bad boy up. The training courses also pose a significant barrier to implementation, the permit to purchase requirement. There has been no guidance on who will qualify as an instructor, quote, certified by a law enforcement agency to provide the course. And there is no indication of how a person who does not yet own a firearm will be able to complete a course requiring a live fire demonstration with a firearm. They don't have a permitting process. They don't have a training regimen. They don't have any of these things in place, and yet they're saying, well, we're going to have paper thumbprint cards. This is getting laughable, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.